AFC Bournemouth versus Newcastle United. Manchester City, Brighton and Arsenal, the top three, the only Premier League clubs with 2 wins from 2 so far. Newcastle can join that group with a victory today. And we are underway with United kicking towards the goal to our left. And up the line immediately for Jacob Murphy, chasing after the ball and getting there in the corner, defender at his back. Murphy plays it against his man, Marcus Senesi. Bournemouth get it clear up the line, and the home side won a throw, which they've taken already, and it's with Marcus Tavernier, the brother of James Tavernier, formerly of Newcastle, but been at Rangers for a very long time. Marcus Tavernier's got it again on halfway, lets it run for another throw. Ryan Christie plays it to the left back, Milos Kerkez. Christie takes it back to his own penalty area, and then a big swing forward from Ilya Zabani over the head of Lloyd Kelly, and Justin Kluivert's onto the ball, but Kluivert's touch takes it out, and Kelly with a throw to take. He started at left back, as we always thought that he would. Dan Burn at centre half. The team in full: Pope, Livramento, Kraft, Byrne, Kelly, Bruno, Longstaff, Joelinton, Murphy, Gordon, Isak. Gordon chasing. Christie plays it back to Zabani. Cook under pressure, and that's a wayward pass. It's out for a Newcastle throw on the left wing. Gordon picks it up, quickly taken to Isak, lets it run and bounce and around his man into the penalty area, but Zabani covering and slides the ball out of play on the near side, close to the corner flag.
Yeah, sloppy from Bournemouth. Gave it away on a couple of occasions there. Cook, real sloppy ball, knocked it out of play. Took it quick. That's what you want to see. Didn't see that last week. Newcastle showing their intent inside the opening couple of minutes, and Lloyd Kelly taking a bit longer over this throw. Lobs it up towards the near post, headed across the box and away. Jacob Murphy in the D. It's heading back towards halfway. Still got it. Looking for another white and green shirt. Pushes the ball forwards to Gordon, and then Bruno across midfield to Livramento. Longstaff up the line. Livramento going backwards with it. Here's Emil Kraft. Lets it run to the feet of Nick Pope. Closed down and away first time by the keeper. Joelinton on it on halfway. Took a touch, but then loses it to Bournemouth midfielder Lewis Cook. And now Marcos Senesi with Alexander Isak on his shoulder plays it back to goalkeeper Neto. 0-0 as Livramento brings the ball down on the far touchline. He's got Tavernier all over him. Livramento starts to come away, and David Coote, the referee, did well.
Whistle. They have a free kick.
Yeah, good composure, did well. Take the free kick quickly and we give it away.
Bournemouth on it, left side of central midfield. One back by Sean Longstaff for Joelinton. Bruno up towards Gordon, trying to get around Zabani. And now closing down the back pass to the goalkeeper. Out to the near side to Araujo. Looking for Semenyo. Run into Joelinton. Then it's cleared. And Kraft chasing after it with Evan Nielsen. They both end up on the deck.
Oh!
And a free kick for Newcastle United. Bournemouth's record signing the new striker. Foot race with Emil Kraft. It was competitive.
I was going to say, it doesn't look like you want to get into a foot race with him either, because Kraft had a couple of yards on him and he was getting there, wasn't he?
He's not the biggest.
No, he's not the biggest, is he?
Dominic Solanke, who he has replaced, is I think about the same height as Emil Kraft, around 6 foot, but he looked quick there. Newcastle with the free kick, headed away by Bournemouth from the edge of the penalty area. Semenyo out to the near side. Cook up the line. Justin Kluivert chasing. Nick Pope leaves the penalty area. Out of play on the near side. Bournemouth throw. And Julian Araujo trying to get it in behind Kelly, who's won the header for Joelinton, and Bruno gets moving in midfield, in behind for Gordon, but it's overhit, took a bounce and bent out of play. 0-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle between
Bournemouth and Newcastle United. Neto clipping it to halfway. Livramento sharp onto that on his chest. Now Longstaff for Jacob Murphy. Back to big Dan Burn. Emil Kraft with it. 5-10 yards behind halfway. Up to Livramento's taken a touch and been bundled over, so the whistle's gone. And in the 6th minute they have a free kick as Anthony Gordon tries to spread the play and widen the pitch.
Tavernier tried to pinch it on halfway. Let's give him the free kick away. Guimaraes standing over it, but right on halfway line.
And Gordon in loads of space. Semenyo keeping an eye on him over his shoulder, but Gordon's getting tight to the touchline. They don't switch it, they go to Livramento across the halfway line. Longstaff back to Livramento, who's now at left back. They find Gordon. Longstaff on halfway, up to Joelinton. First time to Gordon. Newcastle moving the ball around. Gordon's pass blocked by Semenyo. And they have a throw which Gordon is looking to take. Didn't have an option that he was happy with, so he's instead handed the ball to Lloyd Kelly. 141 appearances in a Bournemouth shirt, Lloyd Kelly. Ball thrown in at an angle towards Gordon, swung back by Ryan Christie. And the Scottish international is then tackled by Gordon. Joelinton helps out. Bruno, 10 yards in front of the penalty box, floats the pass over to Livramento. Murphy on his bike, up the line. Livramento tried to ping it along the floor, in behind left-back Milos Kerkez. Didn't have the direction, though. And Bournemouth back to the goalkeeper with no goals at the Vitality Stadium. And Bruno closing down Neto, whose pass is straight onto the head of Murphy. Isak trying to get there on the right wing, and does get there. Isak beats his man, now trying to get away from another. Still Isak, hangs up the cross looking for Gordon, and it's over the top.
Kick.
Via deflection. Newcastle with a corner on the right-hand side.
I think it came off the boy's shoulder. I think he's ducked under it, hit his shoulder, and he's fortunate to see it go over the top of the crossbar. Great play by Isak, wasn't it? Great little ball in as well. Yeah, it's come off his shoulder, looped up and over.
Araujo, the right back, had tucked in, got the touch. Here's the corner. Murphy back to Longstaff, right corner of the penalty area for Gordon to hit. Rolled inside by Longstaff. Gordon side on, swung at it, but never close to being on target.
No, it was one of those training ground ones, wasn't it? They work it, he comes short. Difficult what to hit as well when it's coming across you, and he just makes a complete mess of it.
Now Gordon putting real pressure on Neto. Bournemouth playing it out short from the back. That's what Southampton did last week, and it was costly for them on the one key moment, key occasion in the game. And Gordon almost pinched it from Neto there. It's with Isak on the right wing, back to Burn, just got there in time, just ahead of Evan Nielsen, the Brazilian. And it's Kraft on the ball now. Picks out his pass up the line to Murphy on the stretch, couldn't hold it, but then wins it back. And Livramento to Longstaff. Bruno lets it run back into the Newcastle half. He's in the centre circle, away from Kluivert. Joelinton challenged. Bournemouth have the ball. And then Joelinton with a really strong challenge on his compatriot Evan Nielsen. Welcome to the Premier League. Introduction from Joelinton. No goals yet as Dan Burn, edge of Newcastle's penalty area, up to Joelinton. Bruno onto Longstaff. That's a good move, and they've got numbers in this attack. Middle of the Bournemouth half. Sean Longstaff, right of centre, wide to Jacob Murphy. Low ball into the middle. It's behind for a corner.
It's not the best ball, is it? It's a great break as well. Longstaff finds acres of space in behind that Bournemouth midfield. He breaks forward. Good little ball played out to Murphy. It's a flat ball played in. Comfortable defend against. We had numbers in there as well.
10th minute of the match. Newcastle's second corner. Murphy goes back to Longstaff on the corner of the box. He takes a touch, then clips it in. Another deflection, and that will be same again. Corner kick.
on the right. They've decided to change it with Anthony Gordon going across to take the set piece.
Been a decent start, energetic start.
And that was their best move, that break that led to the first corner in this passage of play. They've got the second. Lloyd Kelly hanging at the back of the 6-yard box. Livramento, the only player that's deep. Bournemouth have got everybody back. Newcastle 2 on the edge of the area as Gordon comes forwards to the ball. A right-footed outswinger. Byrne heads it across and away from everybody. Isak retrieves on the left wing. Kelly with him. Bruno as well. Back through for Isak. Lovely play. Alexander Isak blocked. It took 2 of them to stop him, but Bournemouth deal with that Newcastle move. And now there's a player down in a United shirt. Sean Longstaff, close to the penalty area, and Bruno's got the ball in midfield, but the referee stopped the match and is going to check on Longstaff as the Newcastle medical staff rise to their feet and head up the touchline. 0-0.
Didn't see anything. Great play again, wasn't it? Good little ball in behind by Bruno. Good feet. Isak again.
It's a couple of just collisions off the ball, wasn't it, with Longstaff?
Just ran into him, didn't he?
He's on his feet. He's all right. And David Coote will allow Newcastle to restart the match. They had the ball. Bench today is Ruddy, Trippier, Barnes, Targett, Osula, Hall, Almiron, Willock and Alex Murphy. BBC Radio Newcastle. Kraft in behind for Isak to chase. It's a good ball. Isak takes it down in the penalty area, but his shot is straight
offside.
at Neto. Near side of the goal, but you've spotted the flag from the assistant.
Yeah, it was a late flag again. As soon as he shot, the flag went up.
Evan Nielsen chests down from the goalkeeper's kick. It's come for Joe Linton, and he's won Newcastle a throw just inside the Bournemouth half. The hosts Neto in goal, Araujo, Senesi, Zabani, Kirkes, the back 4, Cook and Christie in midfield, Semenyo, Kluivert, Tavernier and Evan Nielsen up front. On the bench, goalkeeper Travers, Hyson, Ouattara, Scott, Smith, Sinistera, Jebison, Hill and Anthony. Bruno for Longstaff. More good Newcastle play in midfield. Bruno getting away. Couldn't play the pass in behind. He was being held and being pulled, and the referees brought it back for a free kick and shown a yellow card to Bournemouth's Ryan Christie for the challenge on Bruno as he strode forwards over halfway. He was impeded, and it's a booking and a Newcastle free kick.
Yeah, just a little pullback, wasn't it? He was getting away.
13 minutes played. To look for an opener in the sunshine. Bruno dinks it into the box, looking for Kelly in the middle. Senesi away, header from Christie. Livramento hooks it back over his shoulder into the box. Zabani heads clear. Kraft rises. It goes square. Kraft and Byrne both leave it for each other, and then Dan Byrne had arms around an opponent.
He just smothered him, didn't he? He was just... He's that big, he's just all over him.
Whistle's gone for a Bournemouth free kick as Eddie Howe comes to the side of the technical area. There's a drink from a water bottle. Hands in pockets, all in black. Now, looking on as it goes forwards from Senesi, the left centre-back. Livramento's got it. Turns, plays it against Tavernier, and in front of the Newcastle away section, all on their feet. The cry of Tino as he takes the throw. Longstaff back to Bruno, smacked it up and across to the near side. Kelly takes a touch and then loses it to Semenyo, but wins it back off him. Semenyo then challenges Kelly, and Bournemouth have possession again. Played in behind the Newcastle defender. Dan Byrne covering, swings it clear up to halfway.
Good battle, that, isn't it? Semenyo and Kelly.
New signing finding his feet. As we heard from Eddie Howe before kick-off, He only played a couple of times in pre-season, and then 20 minutes last week. Dan Burn might have been pushed edge of the area, but 2 shouts of handball against him, and he's battling for it with Justin Kluivert. And it's Kluivert who comes away with the ball, floats across to the far side of the area. Jacob Murphy there gets onto it, turns, comes inside, then goes back on the outside. Kerkez challenges, it's stayed in. Kerkez now with a cross that Burn heads it away. That was a bit dicey, but now they're on the attack through Joelinton, who's overrun it, lost it to Lewis Cook. And Bournemouth with the ball, building another attack. Home fans believing and getting louder. Araujo with the delivery.
What a ball.
A good ball into a dangerous
Nobody
area.
in there.
Throw for Newcastle on the far side.
There's nobody in there. Great little ball played in.
Livramento brings it away, can't find Murphy. Forward ball from the home team straight to Kraft. Now Pope with his left foot sends it away. Gordon tries to head on. It's with Bruno. Kluivert on his shoulder. Free kick. With a challenge on Bruno. Now Gordon from Murphy's ball onto Isak. Newcastle with a quick break. Isak into the penalty area looking for Gordon, but cleared only as far as Murphy on the right wing. There's a player behind him. Murphy's headed it onto Isak. Bournemouth through Tavernier win it and play it to the goalkeeper. Neto then with a clearance into midfield. 0-0, but the game has come to life in the last few minutes. Bournemouth having a couple of dangerous attacks. Newcastle going forwards at the moment though. Joelinton to Burn, wide left. He's taken up the wide position. Kelly just inside. Burn looking for Gordon. Cleared by big defender Zabani. Bruno and Joelinton in midfield. Exchanging passes. Bruno on the floor. Bournemouth saying it's obstruction. They've won a throw in any case, so it is their ball.
He was looking for the free kick, wasn't he? He was never getting it. Just tried to cover the ball with his body, Bruno.
Bournemouth through Julian Araujo. Throw it up the line. Could have been handball against Evan Nielsen. Nothing given. Semenyo inside to midfield for the Cherries, who are in their 8th season of Premier League football in 2 separate spells. Relegated in 2020, 2 years in the Championship before coming back up. Bruno defending, finding Murphy in the corner. And that's an interesting ball for Murphy. Between Isak and Gordon though, and Lewis Cook, who was an Eddie Howe signing 8 years ago, mops up in the middle of midfield. And Senesi, the blonde-haired defender, inside to Zabani. Newcastle without the ball. Bournemouth up the line to Semenyo. Starts to drift inside, 30 yards out, still going Semenyo. This is Christie, could hit it. Instead plays it to Kerkez in the penalty area. A back heel towards Tavernier, read by Livramento. Longstaff to Kraft, under a bit of pressure. Nice and cool from Kraft to Longstaff again. Kraft once more to Livramento. They're passing their way forwards, Newcastle, but they've lost it. And here's an opportunity for Kluivert.
Oh, great save.
Nick Pope with a big stop at the near post. And now Joelinton up to Isak. They can go here, they can break. Isak gets turned, taking on Senesi. On the far side, Isak into the penalty area. He's beaten him, looks for Gordon.
Oh, what a ball.
Oh, he rolled it across the 6-yard box. Gordon couldn't get there. And it trickled wide of the post.
Oh, well, a great save at one end. All of a sudden we break, and what a ball that is. It's a great ball across goals. Great break. Good, great save, Pope with his feet. Many times do we see him do that. Get his foot to it.
It was Evan Nielsen who had the shot, I beg your pardon, rather than Kluivert. 9 rather than 19 in a Bournemouth shirt. But Pope with a really important save as Newcastle are tested properly for the first time in the 20th minute. And then Isak had that
quality
run,
ball, wasn't it?
but the way that he got around Senesi with
Yeah, he left Senesi for dead, didn't he?
Made it look so easy. Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0. Ball in behind from Bournemouth. Nobody there apart from Nick Pope. Picks it up. Dan Burn is now back in the centre of defence for Bruno. He's got a player at his back. He's caught Christie.
Get up out of that.
Bruno came away with the ball, got past him. Christie went down holding his head. So referee David Coote has stopped the match. I mean, Bruno put his hand on the shoulder. As soon
as they feel any touch at all, they just fall down.
He put his hand on Christie's shoulder, and I think he caught his other hand caught on the ear.
There's nothing wrong with him.
Eddie Howe has pulled Anthony Gordon over to the touchline, and they're having a one-on-one conversation. Newcastle fans letting Ryan Christie know what they think of him, and he's going down in that coming together with Bruno, if you can even call it that. Nice play between Bruno and Dan Burn, and the Brazilian with a floated pass to Livramento 30 yards out. Longstaff makes a forward run into the penalty area, takes a touch and goes out wide, but it's shepherded out by Senesi. It's a goal kick.
Good defending. Just got himself between man and ball, just ushered it out.
Almost at the midway point in the first half on BBC Radio Newcastle. First away match of the new season. They've won twice here in the Premier League. Both of the Newcastle victories were when Eddie Howe was Bournemouth's manager. 2015 1-0, where they got battered and won, and Steve McLaren was in charge, and then the match behind closed doors in July 2020. Here's Kluivert on the near side, turning and cutting it back in the box. Newcastle bring it away.
Oh,
in a challenge.
He wasn't going to give that.
And the referee
it's only because Gordon's rolling around that he gives the free kick, because he wasn't going to give it.
Gordon helped to his feet. He brought the ball away. Semenyo tried to pinch it back. Gordon hit the floor, as you said, John Anderson, rolled around. Referee waited a few seconds and then
he wasn't going to give it.
Talk to us about Newcastle's performance so far and what they've done well.
Energy levels have been better. Press has been better as well. I think we've got the legs of this Bournemouth two centre backs. Keep giving it to Isak. The trouble is, you don't want to isolate them too much. You need people to get in and around them as well.
It looks a little bit, when they're set up, like a 4-4-2.
Yeah, it does, because two wide boys are dropping really deep.
And Isak's pulled, you know, we often see him come in from the left. Bournemouth have got the ball at the back, approaching the middle third of the pitch, 0-0. Isak is now more to the right, but he's pulling out wide right, and Gordon's staying up there, kind of almost wide left, a bit like it's a bit like that split strikers that they played when Steve Bruce was manager. Do you remember that?
Not really.
They did that for a few games when they were struggling, but yeah, Isak spent a bit of time in the centre, but more of it in the forward line, out wide, and Gordon giving them width at the front on the left as well, and Joelinton like a left winger. But it's fluid, isn't it? And we saw Burn come out to the left wing, Kelly come inside, and that's how they approach it. Neto has come out of his box, took ages over the clearance. Newcastle through Livramento find Isak, who gets away from a couple of challenges, finds Gordon, flicked straight back to Isak, 30 yards out now. Joelinton inside, good ball first time for Bruno. Isak just next to the D, spins and finds the feet of Joelinton, left corner of the area, back inside to Isak. Good touch to get away.
Oh, what a touch that was.
Couldn't get it under control with the second one. Now Lloyd Kelly on for Joelinton, strong running from Joelinton, and he's won a throw next to the Newcastle corner flag up to our left-hand side.
Kelly back to Gordon. 30 to 35 yards out. He goes back actually with the ball to Dan Burnham from halfway. Nick Pope having a touch, and then another pass that comes back to him from Byrne, away left-footed by Pope. Joelinton back heels it on. Gordon might be onto this. Good defending by Araujo, who got his shoulder in, used his physicality.
Yeah, it looked like Gordon was going to get away from him, didn't it?
The Mexican with his black hair and some white highlights in it, bright orange boots. He's involved defensively for Bournemouth, who have it again, with Bruno being robbed of possession in midfield. Might be a foul by Bruno on Marcus Tavernier. He's come over to the near side, Kluivert on the left. Tavernier taking on 3 players, gets stopped, but the ball's come to Semenyo. And now it's inside to Christie. And Milos Kerkez, the Hungarian. The 5'7" Kluivert, second season at Bournemouth, got 9 goals last year, not a bad return. Clipped into the box, Byrne with a header down. Bournemouth get the second ball. This is Cook, 0-0, with a pass to Semenyo, takes it under control, thinking about a cross now. Step over and away from Joelinton. Edge of the area, Semenyo off the bar!
What a strike that is!
Left-footed curling, dipping shot from Antoine Semenyo off the top of the crossbar.
What a strike that is! As big as Nick Pope is, he's getting absolutely nowhere near it. He just cuts inside and he swings that left foot. Pope's at full stretch, nowhere near it. Smacks out crossbar, flies over the top.
Antoine Semenyo, the former Sunderland player, scored last week. He scored against Newcastle in February at St James's. He almost gave Bournemouth a 1-0 lead there. Off the frame of the goal. Evan Nielsen fouled by Emil Kraft in the middle of Newcastle's half. And the white and green shirts retreat for this free kick that they have to defend. Left of centre. Cook goes jogging across to take it as Anthony Gordon has a word with the referee, and Newcastle set up their defensive line, approaching 10 yards in front of the penalty box. Evan Nielsen and Kluivert standing in the middle, both standing offside at the moment. Gordon and Murphy ahead of the ball, which Cook lifts in round the back for Semenyo, who gets there. It's not the best cross with his right foot, and it's cleared. And Araujo with a header, but Gordon's got it back, and Newcastle in possession. Joelinton tackled by Semenyo, who's looking bright, might have another shooting opportunity here. He's instead played it to Kluivert, who's helped it on to Tavernier. A sliding Livramento intercepts.
Poor ball.
And Jacob Murphy drops his shoulder and gets away, and it's a good run by Murphy, in behind, but too much on the ball for Isak.
Too straight a ball. Too straight. Idea was right, just got too much on it as well.
There is another game underway in the Premier League, another 2 o'clock kickoff, and it's Wolves against Chelsea. Both teams have scored 1-1. Nicholas Jackson for Chelsea to give them the lead. Mateus Cunha has just equalised for Wolves. 1-1 there, 0-0 here. 4:30, Liverpool against Brentford. No Premier League fixtures tomorrow. Bournemouth with a player who might need treatment. Half an hour on the clock, 0-0. And Newcastle with a throw to take when the match is able to restart. It's Milos Kerkez, chased after the ball with Jacob Murphy, slid in.
Yeah,
and
Murphy stood on his hand, but it was a complete accident. I mean, there's nothing, no intent in that whatsoever. Doesn't even know his hand is there.
Well, he's all right. Martino Livramento with the Newcastle throw. In the attacking half of the pitch, Isak and Gordon on the edge of the penalty area, right and left. They look for Isak, but it's away by Senesi. Byrne coming to try and win the header, and would have been a foul but for the fact Bournemouth have the ball, and then referee let them try to play on, but they lost it. He didn't then take it back. Newcastle, Kelly to Livramento, back to Pope. He's taken a touch, not the best one, but he's got it away with a clearance. Zabani brought down. Kluivert on for Semenyo. There seems to be a player, Antoine Semenyo, that's getting better and better for Bournemouth. Cook whips in the cross. Livramento stooping header clear. Longstaff made a challenge on Christie. Free kick outside the area. Central position.
Yeah, he's just nicked it away from him, hasn't he?
Sean Longstaff, a split second too late. It's behind the D. The Newcastle wall is being constructed. Byrne in the middle with Joelinton, Kelly and Isak. All big lads. Bournemouth. They'll put a couple of players in front of the wall. Anthony Gordon just policing the situation, making sure that they don't move the ball away from where the free kick should be taken.
Yeah, Tavernier could fancy this.
Although the way Semenyo hit that shot,
you'd fancy.
Slightly right of centre. He would want to come onto that with his left foot. Nick Pope going across his goal from left to right. Getting everything the way that he wants it. 3 Bournemouth players in front of the 4-man Newcastle wall. And the free kick, Marcus Tavernier.
Lewis Cook is there as well.
So a left-footed option and a right-footed player. And it's Tavernier who comes towards the ball, takes a big deflection off the wall, and Pope has to push it behind. It started to go to his left and the deflection took it the other way. And Pope just made sure.
It's a big wall to get it up and over, and then to get it to dip.
It was going wide. He may have been attempting to catch it, but ran out of room and time. It is now back in play from the corner on the left. A short ball, then sent in by Cook, right-footed. Pope punches it away. Tavernier, right corner of the box, on his left foot, back to Christie. Now Senesi, and the centre half, flat ball in, left-footed. Dan Burns there, and he clears it out for a throw, 20 yards from Newcastle's goal. Having to defend, but it remains goalless at the Vitality Stadium. Senesi, up to Semenyo, inside for Tavernier, back to Semenyo. This is dangerous. Semenyo, that's not dangerous.
No, always off balance when he tries to hit that. Good defending, Dan Byrne. Little nudge, just knocked him off balance.
And having come really close with a great strike earlier, that one never a problem for Nick Pope. 34 minutes played on BBC Radio Newcastle. If you are listening to us now, looking for Simon Logan's 80s and 90s, we'll be live from 4 after Bournemouth against Newcastle, but you'll be able to hear his full programme 4 hours later on BBC Sounds. This is Tavernier, back to the Newcastle goal, close to halfway. Finds a pass to the left wing, now up the line for Kluivert. Bournemouth having the better of it at the moment. And Pope with a comfortable catch from the cross.
Poor cross, too close to the goalkeeper.
Quick throw, but Araujo is there before Gordon lifts it away into the Newcastle half. Joelinton challenges Cook. Lloyd Kelly's got it for Newcastle United. Inside to Dan Byrne, and Bruno comes to get it inside to Longstaff. Back to Byrne and Bruno, right side of central midfield. Livramento square. Livramento now comes in field and then plays a pass backwards to Kraft. And Pope to Byrne. And And forwards to Longstaff. Joelinton in off the left and away from his man. Isak wanted it played quickly. It didn't come, but he's turned away again. Joelinton looked for Longstaff.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
Newcastle free kick. Referee was going to let it go, but there was no advantage. It's on halfway with Gordon, and now Byrne. Kelly. It's 3 black and red striped Bournemouth shirts ahead of him. It's to go back to Byrne, up to Joelinton, lay off to Bruno. Gordon's probably his best option. He comes in field, Gordon off the left wing. First time ball dinked up towards Isak, headed away by Zabani. Bournemouth have improved as the match has gone on. Newcastle started well, but a ground where they don't always have a great time. They are second best at the moment. Emil Kraft covering out to the corner. His clearance took a big deflection. They can't find another white and green United shirt. Jacob Murphy steps in to win it back from Bournemouth. And Longstaff to Bruno, on for Joelinton. Bruno caught late after the ball had gone. Joelinton turns. And then tackled by Semenyo, who's got Evan Nielsen ahead of him. Semenyo might want to go it alone again into the penalty area. And the cross to a teammate, and it's turned in by Tavernier in the 6-yard box. It was Semenyo who robbed Joelinton of possession. Carried on his run, looked like he was going down a blind alley, but he managed to supply a cross that missed Evan Nielsen, but was tapped in from close range by Marcus Tavernier, and it's Bournemouth 1, Newcastle United 0.
Well, he just had his pocket pinched, didn't he, Joelinton, edge of the penalty area. He can't afford to lose it there. Lose it there, you're in big trouble, and so it was.
Might be offside.
Might be offside.
We will wait for VAR Tim Robinson to check this goal.
Semenyo's been a live wire throughout this game. I think this is offside.
It's close. He is.
No, it's not.
In the 6-yard box when he connects with the ball. I think he's on, isn't he? Looks like Kelly might be playing him on.
Yeah, it's been given anyway.
Yeah, goal stands. Newcastle are behind. 38th minute. And Bruno from the kickoff on the charge. In behind for Murphy, but Kerkez recovers with a sliding challenge to stop Jacob Murphy getting in. And they'd had a couple of warnings. And it was Semenyo, perhaps no surprise.
Yeah, he's been a live wire, hasn't he? He's been.
Bruno and Isak with passes in midfield, and it's Gordon. He's not had the chance to run or take on his man. There he rolls it back to Kelly and gets it again, 30 yards out straight at a defender. And the clearance straight to Bruno. Heavy touch, Bruno with a strong challenge.
Tackle. It's a great tackle.
Play continues. Bournemouth have the ball, and Kluivert back to Araujo, and it's Evan Nielsen.
There's nothing wrong with that tackle.
Who was the Bournemouth player involved. Bruno's down. He really went in.
It's full-blooded tackle between the pair of them. Balls bounce between them.
Yeah, strong from Bruno.
Nothing wrong with that.
And Evan Nielsen felt the full force of it. Both get back up. Jason Tindall having a conversation with Lloyd Kelly. And now Tino Livramento. And nothing given in terms of a foul, by the way, just to be clear. Referees pick the ball up and will give it back to Bournemouth in their half of the pitch. Gordon goes to close down Zabani, who comes away. Newcastle are losing with about 5 minutes to half time here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Livramento with a header.
Good header, well played.
Intercepting the diagonal ball. Jacob Murphy, good turn under pressure. A couple of players around him. Good run by Murphy. He's got away from a few challenges. Still Jacob Murphy. Oh, and then the pass is behind Longstaff. Everything he did to get turned and get forwards was really good. And then the pass was not executed in quite the right way. Bournemouth throw.
Yeah. It wasn't a difficult one, was it? As you say, he did great to get turned. But it's picking out somebody in white.
It's back in play. Livramento is first to the ball from the Bournemouth throw. Murphy across midfield to Joelinton, and Kraft to Kelly. Newcastle just about doing enough with the last couple of passes. Nick Pope then almost miscontrolled in the box. There was no attacker there, so he had time to recover. And Bruno in the centre of Newcastle's half to the big man Dan Burn. Kelly for Gordon. A couple of turns, bit of skill from Gordon. Foul by Cook. Referee's whistle has gone. He's heading back towards his own box, and if a free kick hadn't gone, Bournemouth would have had a really favourable situation near to the penalty box, but Newcastle United with the free kick. Bournemouth lead 1-0. Longstaff comes deep to get it. Isak on halfway. Joelinton up there as well. Gordon wide left. The ball is in the United penalty area. Burn to Kelly. Played against Semenyo and out for a throw. The first half really changed, didn't it, John Anderson?
Yeah, I thought we started well,
but
yeah,
Bournemouth taking control.
As the half has gone on, Bournemouth have become the better side, become the more dominant side.
Whistle's gone. It's Gordon and Julian Araujo off the ball.
Having a little bit of it.
Now they're just having a smile and a laugh about it. So Lloyd Kelly will have to take the throw in again. It's up the line to Joelinton. Header on. Gordon had come in field and the header went to the spot that Gordon started in and then out of play. Back to Zabani. Tavernier in the 37th minute, the only goal. Newcastle with a couple of moments. Isak looking sharp, but Neto not a great deal to do. Semenyo, before Bournemouth scored, hit the top of the crossbar. Livramento jumps underneath the ball, near to halfway, finds Murphy, and now Sean Longstaff. Dropped off to Bruno, next to the centre circle. This could be promising. It's come to Joelinton, back to Bruno. Bournemouth intercept. Joelinton with a challenge. A few appeals for a foul, nothing given. United throw on the near side. Behind halfway, Kelly quickly to Burn. Approaching the final minute of the first half. Nick Pope. He's played a lot of passes with his left foot today, Pope. There's another one over the head of Evan Nilsson. And Kraft with a high ball into the Bournemouth half. Towards Isak. Out for a Newcastle ball. Next to the start of the away section. About 15 yards from the halfway line, in the sunshine. Livramento at an angle to Joelinton. Bournemouth win it as Joelinton goes down. No foul, then Bruno dispossesses Semenyo. Murphy onto Gordon. Newcastle trying to be quick about this. The ball's come to Joelinton and on to Isak. Couldn't get away from Senesi, who defended it really well.
It was great defending, wasn't it?
Semenyo up the line to goal scorer Tavernier. Slows it down, turns back, finds a teammate. Bournemouth perhaps looking to just see out
the remainder of this half. They have a 1-0 lead over Newcastle. Last week against Southampton, Newcastle, of all the Premier League teams, they had the fewest shots and saw the most shots against. They haven't had too many attempts on the Bournemouth goal today, 11 v 11. As 3 minutes are added as a minimum to the first half, and we're into the additional period now with Newcastle a goal down. There's a foul in midfield, referee play on because Bournemouth have it at the edge of the final third with midfielder Ryan Christie, and now Tavernier and Kirkes wide left. Clivert was the player that was fouled. He's back on his feet and playing a part in this attack. A couple of passes. Senesi with a forward ball up the left wing, gets it back again. Newcastle be able to push up their defensive line into the middle of their half, but they can't get the ball. As Chelsea, through Cole Palmer, go 2-1 up at Wolves in the other 2 o'clock kickoff. Zabani took a risk, just about got away with it with a bit of skill. Gordon right on top of him. Livramento with a header. Longstaff on halfway. Jacob Murphy now. And Bruno, lots of space for Bruno in central midfield, assessing his options. Isak's dropped deep, takes the ball on the turn. He's been tackled, but it's back to Bruno. Wide right now to Longstaff, and Murphy available. Still Jacob Murphy. Into the penalty area for Longstaff, but it's too strong. And it went behind, close to the near post. Couldn't get on the end of Murphy's pass.
No, just too much pace on the ball, wasn't it? Just couldn't get there.
A minute or so to go in this opening 45. Newcastle find themselves a goal down. Neto with a goal kick. Livramento competes for the ball. Evan Nielsen loses it. They have it back, United. Burn for Joelinton. There's time for one more attack. Longstaff away from Evan Nielsen. Did well because he slipped in the middle of all of that. And the ball for Joelinton.
Oh dear. He's having one of those days, isn't he?
He saw Jacob Murphy. Murphy then ducked out of the way of the pass, which was waist high, and it's gone out on the far side. Well, particularly in the second half last week, Joelinton was everywhere, and he scored the winning goal at the end of the first half, so it was a big day for him. Not quite been at his dominant and at times brutal best, and Newcastle haven't been at their best despite a decent start here at the Vitality Stadium. They go in 1-0 down at half-time. Radio Newcastle, they need to respond from the kickoff. Joelinton heads on, looking for Gordon in the box, but away. It's on that far side. Lloyd Kelly made a challenge and then is tackled by Cook, who plays a quick one in behind. Pope out of his box. First time clearance into the supporters on the far side.
Good ball, wasn't it, down the line, in behind. Good starting position by Nick Pope.
Had Newcastle stretched there. Good sweeping up by the keeper. And the ball goes back to Senesi. And a left-footed pass forwards in behind. Livramento wants to let this run, but it didn't have enough pace on it. He has
done well,
managed to turn away from Tavernier. Isak and Murphy linking up. Decent play on the near side. Murphy with a cross-field ball to switch it. It's behind Gordon. It
got
lost
lucky,
the momentum, but Gordon's kept it in. Back to Kelly on halfway.
Yeah, it wasn't meant for Gordon, was it?
Newcastle away fans urging the players forwards. In the opening minutes of the second half, Gordon close to the 18-yard line. Longstaff in the centre. It's coming away from goal. Back to Livramento, on to Murphy. Livramento with a forward run. Good ball by Murphy. Longstaff breaks into the area, and the challenge from Senesi sees the ball go behind. And as Longstaff went down, there might have been one or two hopeful shouts from the away end, but no chance of that challenge leading to a penalty.
No, it was just a coming together, wasn't it? He'd overran the ball as well, hasn't he?
Isak from Murphy's header from the Bournemouth goal kick. Alexander Isak in the penalty area, blocked by Senesi, and corner kick on the near side in the 48th minute as they make a positive start, Newcastle, after the break. Isak tried to get a shot away, the ball really didn't travel far at all, and then went out for a corner, came out wide, potentially could have gone for a throw, but it went the other side of the pole with the flag on. And Anthony Gordon is preparing to take this. Kelly round the back, Byrne, Joelinton, Isak near the penalty spot. Longstaff's in there. It's rolled short to Bruno from Gordon. Still Bruno. Kraft in the D. Where are they going with this? Back to Gordon. Now digs out the cross. It's a good one. Dan Byrne's header across the penalty box. Evan Nielsen there for Bournemouth. And then Bruno gets his body in the way, and Newcastle trying to stay on the attack. Foul by Evan Nielsen on Bruno. And that's a free kick right next to the corner flag.
Yeah, it's like another corner, isn't it? They got all confused with that corner kick, didn't they? Didn't know where they were going.
They've taken the free kick quickly. Gordon clips it in. Isak blocked, and then Bournemouth get it clear. The way that Isak connected with that ball first time, right-footed, it looked like it was travelling, but a defender was in the way of it. And they're trying to keep the intensity up and keep the pressure on, but Gordon has to go back to Kraft with that pass. Gordon again on halfway. Comes infield and then plays it back to the right to Emil Kraft. Bournemouth have squeezed Newcastle here, and they've done well, and Livramento's almost lost it. Kraft then has to push it up the line. Murphy on his chest. It stayed in play. They've lost it to Christie. Murphy's won it back, and Longstaff did well to find Bruno, but a challenge from Justin Kluivert, and Bournemouth have possession. Good ball by Cook into the penalty area. Kluivert rolls it back. Semenyo.
Great tackle.
Dan Byrne defending, and it's a corner.
Great tackle. That would have been two. Great break down this left-hand side. Good little pull back. Bourne does well. He goes full length to get something on that.
It's Bournemouth 1, Newcastle 0, right here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Everybody is defending. They're all back in the box. Here's the right-footed corner from the left. It's a Newcastle flicked header, and Kraft on the far left touchline is there. Starts to bring the ball away. Challenge came in on Kraft, no foul. And Bournemouth trying to attack up the other side, but Kluivert got it wrong there with his fancy footwork, and it's a goal kick. Eddie Howe has on the bench. Ruddy is the backup goalkeeper, and Trippier, Barnes, Target, Osula, Hall, Almiron, Willock and Alex Murphy. Howe is joined now by Jason Tyndall for a chat as they figure out what comes next for Newcastle. A goal down, 51 minutes, free kick. Gordon fouled just past halfway. Bruno next to the ball, pushed inside to Byrne, back to Bruno. Livramento available. Bruno shoved over by Kluivert, and referees just let it play on. Dan Byrne then with a nice bit of skill to get away from Kluivert, plays the ball into midfield. Bournemouth have won it back. Evan Nielsen getting there before Kraft. Here's Evan Nielsen, left-footed shot straight at Pope, couldn't hold it, gathers at the second attempt.
Well, I don't know what we're doing with these free kicks. knocking them short, giving it away. Just inviting their own trouble, causing their own problems.
Some of the substitutes getting up now to warm up. Foul on Gordon again.
Every time somebody does that, they back into somebody and they stop. The referee gives a free kick.
Almiron, Asula, Willock and Barnes warming up. Livramento, who's run into trouble, but he's been fouled by Kirkers. No complaints from the Bournemouth players, even if some of the supporters don't like it. It's the home team that leads at the Vitality Stadium. 1-0. Pope, not the best ball out from the back, and it's a throw. It was between Kraft and Livramento, and the latter tried desperately to keep it in, but couldn't. Goal scorer Tavernier now tackled by Livramento, and Jacob Murphy's won a throw in the right full-back position. Smallest ground in the Premier League, one of the more difficult places to come, and certainly in the case of Newcastle United. Here's Semenyo, big deflection. Who did it touch last, Newcastle or Bournemouth? Goal kick. Up behind off a red and black shirt. The match is 2-2 between Wolves and Chelsea. Liverpool-Brentford at 4:30. Throw from Lloyd Kelly, and Joelinton pulled down by Cook in midfield. Bruno having his shirt pulled. I mean, it's clear. Referee decides to let play go on. Newcastle have the ball. He's brought it back because the advantage is lost. I mean, it was a referee saying it's the shirt pull. It was a clear shirt pull, but he has let it go and then brought it back quite a bit today, David Coote.
It was a short pull, but there was a couple of phases after that. How many phases do you let it go?
Kieran Trippier warming up now as well. Something has to change. Bruno with the free kick. Referee's not ready. 55 minutes on the clock. They're going to do it again. It's on halfway. Sack back to Bruno. 1-0 to Bournemouth, and Bruno preparing to do it again, but to the referee's satisfaction this time. It's towards the edge of the penalty area. Joelinton beaten in the air by Cook, who got up big, and what a good header, but Joelinton's won it back. Jacob Murphy with a dipping cross. It's gone behind. Had the goalkeeper concerned, but it was too close to the posts, really, for anybody to get there. For a moment, I wondered if it was going to drop in, but it dropped wide for this Bournemouth goal kick.
Yeah, he's just whipped it in there, hasn't he? There was nobody in there.
Kraft and Evan Nielsen, they've got hands over each other. They're all over each other, but it's gone the way of Bournemouth. And Emil Kraft is having a proper go at the referee. They've taken a quick one, and David Coote is not ready again. They took a quick one.
This referee is...
Because Evan Nielsen was in.
Yeah.
I mean, it was opportunistic. Some referees might have let it go. Jason Tindall is calling for Kieran Trippier first. I wonder if they might put Livramento at left back. Harvey Barnes they want as well. Chelsea have gone 3-2 up at Wolves. Noni Madueke, strongly linked to Newcastle, scoring for Chelsea. Bournemouth free kick into the box behind off Lloyd Kelly. A double Newcastle change is coming as they look for an equaliser, although Bournemouth are hoping to make it 2-0 from this corner. Tavernier with a slow walk across.
Middlesbrough man. Bournemouth right, left-footed corner kick. It's a packed 6-yard box, not many players at the back of the penalty area. Sent in with plenty of whip. Oh, goodness me. That had Nick Pope concerned. He got nowhere near it, and they had Clivert steaming in at the back post. It's a goal kick.
What a delivery that is. There's some whip on that, some pace on it as well.
Just got there a little later than he needed to get a proper connection on it. Skimmed off his head.
And Murphy off.
So Trippier on, his first competitive appearance of the season. Barnes on. He came on after 70 minutes last week. He's getting more time today, Harvey Barnes. He's gone to the left wing. Anthony Gordon's come over to the right. Isak firmly in the middle. Trippier at right back. So they've left Kelly on the left. And he's changed his right-hand side, Eddie Howe.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how Gordon does on
Longstaff in midfield.
On this right-hand side.
Gets it back from Byrne. Looking for Trippier on the run into the Bournemouth half. He's got a throw. Good challenge from Kirkes. Trippier wants to go quickly with the ball back into play, but he's seen lots of Bournemouth bodies get back and has decided to hold on to it. And they're going to wait, Newcastle. Goes back to halfway to Kraft. Inside to Byrne. 59 minutes. Dan Byrne. Oh, getting in a bit of a tangle, edge of the area. Back to Nick Pope. Another kick with his left foot from Pope.
Because it's not back to his left foot.
Yeah.
There's not a great deal
he's
he
not
can do.
Not shifting it. And it's Semenyo anyway. Right-footed attempt from.
Haven't seen as much of him second half, have we?
Over the top.
Yeah. Hasn't got involved in it as much second half. That was hopeful.
Away defeats last season. Something doesn't change. They'll be starting the new campaign with a loss on their travels. Joelinton, powerful midfield play, pushed out to Harvey Barnes. Chance to run. They haven't run at the Bournemouth defence, have they? Barnes inside to Isak. Now for Bruno, just outside the area. Pushed over to the near side to Kieran Trippier. Cross comes in. They looked for Barnes, but it's away by Araujo. And Semenyo to Zabani. Dan Byrne, bigger and stronger than Evan Nielsen. And Joelinton for Bruno in the centre circle. Trippier 10 yards to the right. That's where it goes. Gordon comes short, gets it on the angle. Comes back with a little turn infield to Bruno. Digs out a ball. What a ball from Bruno, but Neto got there. Gordon close to being on the end of it, outside of the right boot by Bruno. Great spot, but the goalkeeper quick off the mark for Bournemouth.
Yeah, just too much on it, wasn't it? Keeper's ball all day.
Looking to get it in behind Kraft. He's done well with a header. And Byrne to Kelly. Joelinton, Cook all over him. Controls, passes it to Bruno. Longstaff back to Bruno. Great ball. Trying to get Isak in. Edge of the area. Zabani makes the challenge. It's come to Gordon, right corner of the box. Now Trippier. Bruno, edge of the penalty area. Bit of space. The cross to Isak. Headed back towards Barnes and headed away by Bournemouth, who still lead 1-0. Newcastle having a few more moments, but no end product, no final ball just yet. The pass John Anderson up to Alexander Isak just wasn't in behind, was it? It was to feet, and he would have wanted to run and try to get away. No, does so well.
The two substitutions have given them a different dimension.
It's a misplaced ball up from the back towards the left wing, and it's
the home side's turn to attack. Clivert and Cook, they've slowed play down, but still have it in the final third. Back to halfway. I don't think they would be able to get him, but they need a right-sided centre half. Zabani has had an afternoon where he's again looked like a very good Premier League player, though he hasn't had loads to do, but he's just got that air about him of confidence and quality. Yeah, he has. And he's big as well.
Yeah, he's got a bit of aggression about him as well, hasn't he?
Bournemouth have won a corner on the near side. They have a 1-0 lead, Newcastle trailing since the 37th minute. Cook with a right-footed delivery. Pope off his line, gets a gloved hand to the ball. Kelly on the far side. He's knocked it forwards, but out of play. I think he was ever going to run Tavernier. At least they've removed the immediate danger in the sense that they've cleared the corner. Osula, Hall, Almiron and Willock warming up along the left touchline. Semenyo, good first touch. Now into the box, couple of step overs. Semenyo's cross, how did it not go in? The back post, the debutant.
How did he miss that?
Evan Nielsen didn't get anything on it. It should be 2-0 to Bournemouth, and Newcastle delighted.
He did get something on it.
Did get something on it. I've just seen that. Got his studs on it and somehow stabbed it wide from almost under the crossbar.
You wonder how he missed, don't you? Maybe that could be the little break we need.
Midfield change for Bournemouth. Ryan Christie replaced by Alex Scott. That's a reversal of a switch they made about this time last week in their draw with Nottingham Forest. Alex Scott, the 20-year-old midfielder, formerly of Bristol City. Back to Nick Pope on his left foot again. And out off Harvey Barnes on the far touchline.
It hasn't been good. Everything about it today, the passing's been poor, our decision making's been poor.
Joelinton up there with Alexander Isak at the minute, chasing the ball back to Neto. Kraft free header, straight to Scott, through the legs of Bruno, straight to Joelinton. No foul, Newcastle have it. And attempting to go forwards. 25 minutes to play, Harvey Barnes for Bruno, left of centre, middle of the Bournemouth half in terms of how close they are to the goal. Longstaff back to Burn, they're on halfway with it now, United. Joelinton, that's a trip by Cook.
Tell you what, he's done a good job on him today, Cook. He's got close to him, hasn't given them time on the ball. He's done to Joelinton what Joelinton does to everybody else.
Here is Joelinton.
Well played.
Away from him this time. Bruno looking for Isak into the penalty area. Alexander Isak on the goal line, wide of the posts. It's gone behind, and it's a goal kick. Couldn't get his
feet right. Tied up, didn't he?
Isak, uncharacteristically so. And a Newcastle break amounts to nothing as Eddie Howe turns and goes back to the bench. And conversations among the coaching staff continue. They need an equaliser. John Anderson, it doesn't have the feel of a Newcastle team when they've been at their best over the last couple of seasons, does it? There's just something not quite right today. Lively start, couple of nice moves. They've had one or two moments in the second half and a bit more threat since the substitutions were made, but there's just something missing. Not as dynamic or as explosive, but or to be honest,
it's like last week, you know, and we made excuses last week because we went down to 10 men. Oh, he's in.
This is Isak, Gordon in the middle, Barnes on the left. Isak's taking it on himself, just outside the area. Isak, Harvey Barnes takes a touch and hits it just wide. Barnes
with Newcastle's best chance of the afternoon. A quick break. Isak could have played in Gordon, maybe he could have gone himself. He carried it on to the edge of the area, found the pass for Barnes, one touch and across the goal and narrowly wide.
Yeah, well, the break was on. They got outnumbered, didn't they? They lost it. The debutant, Evan Nielsen, he looks like he's running on water at the moment.
Two more changes. Lewis Hall and Joe Willock are ready, and they'll be on probably the next time the ball goes out of play, because it's back in play at the minute. Kieran Trippier, good challenge on the Bournemouth sub Alex Scott, and now it's Anthony Gordon trying to get away from Senesi, who defended that very well. Big and strong.
He looks a player, doesn't he?
Gordon is definitely not looking 100% based on last week and today so far. Semenyo on the outside. Kelly, good challenge to corner, but he had to do something, and he had to get that right as well, Kelly, in that position.
Had a rough afternoon today, hasn't he, against that boy. Mind you, he caused you problems. Strong, quick.
Yeah, they need a player for that position, Newcastle, as well as another centre-back. They're going to delay the substitution until after the corner. Chelsea have scored a fourth, Wolves 2, Chelsea 4. The latest there from Molineux. Here Newcastle are losing 1-0, and it's been that way since the 37th minute. You listen to BBC Radio Newcastle. Corner to defend, left-footed, plenty of whip again. Pope under the crossbar, pushes it up, hasn't really gone away. Clivert, low ball to the near post. Now Newcastle can clear. Bruno delays it, was pulled back. Easy decision for the referee to give. Here are the changes. Lloyd Kelly being replaced by Lewis Hall. And polite applause for Lloyd Kelly from the Bournemouth fans. He responds, and Sean Longstaff is off, and Joe Willock, good to see Joe Willock. Just 14 appearances last season, a campaign that started late and ended in the first week of April because of injuries. He's on for the final 20 as Newcastle try to get this game levelled up. Bruno could be the man to make it happen. So could this boy. Barnes for Willock, just on into the penalty area, back to Hall. Here's the cross. Alexander Isak off the line. Bournemouth clear through Senesi. It was heading inside the far post.
I think the keeper was going to get it as well, you know, Reza.
Senesi hooked it clear just as it was heading towards the goal line, and Newcastle staying on the attack after the clearance. Lewis Hall for Bruno. Barnes just inside the area, trying to find a bit of space on the left. Here's Anthony Gordon, crosses blocked, straight back to Harvey Barnes. Right-footed delivery, it's a good one. Joelinton, great save! Joelinton so close to an equaliser. Neto with a one-handed diving save from Joelinton's header, and Bournemouth still lead 1-0.
What a save! Great ball played in, good header. Got to say, it's a good header, but it's a strong save from the keeper.
Oh, Joe Willock's gone down. Looks like he might have twisted his ankle.
No, he's got kicked.
Did he get kicked? Oh, he just put his hand around his ankle and fell to the floor. He's been helped up, thankfully. False alarm. So hooked away in front of the line as it was travelling from Isak, and then Joelinton, and 6 yards out.
Tell you what, it's a better save because his weight's on his left-hand side and he has to adjust the keeper. Oh, what a save that is.
Kieran Trippier trying to drop this in behind Kirkes. He's won the header. Gordon was the intended recipient of the ball. Bournemouth throw next to the halfway line. Since Trippier and Barnes came on, there's been an improvement, and the double change there with Willock and Hall has almost helped Newcastle level the scores. Much better in many respects, but not enough to equalise. Double change for Bournemouth. Evan Nielsen £40 million record signing from Porto, replaced by Luis Sinisterra, and Dango Ouattara has come on for Justin Kluivert. Sinisterra, Colombian midfielder, formerly of Leeds, and Ouattara has been at Bournemouth for a couple of seasons, plays on the wing. Another throw for Andoni Iraola's team. On the near side of the pitch, Popes left his penalty area, but Tara was there as well.
Oh, he didn't fancy it, did he?
He pulled out of the chance, thankfully.
He did.
Pope played
He could have got there as well, I think.
If he'd got there, Pope would have been well out of his goal, and it would have been a difficult angle potentially, but it would have been an empty net. Fortunately, Newcastle throw, Trippier to Joe Linton, and now Bruno. Noni Madueke scored a hat-trick for Chelsea, 5-2 up at Wolves. Barnes, good take through the legs of his man. Now Joe Linton. Bournemouth quickly getting players back. Willock back to Joe Linton. And Barnes for Lewis Hall, close to the left touchline. Joe Linton to Bruno. He's got away from a couple of players. Great feet by Bruno. Here's Joe Willock. It's blocked. And it might run for a corner, but it's kept in by Ouattara, and Kraft for Newcastle. Willock on the right into the middle of the box, intercepted by Senesi and away. And Byrne with the header for Trippier, back to Kraft. Across the halfway line for Byrne. Can't find Willock or Hall with the pass, but Bournemouth are giving it straight back to Dan Byrne. And Joe Linton on to Bruno. Gordon making the run. Barnes as well. They found Harvey Barnes. Flag stays down, beats his man, turns. Willock with a chance to deliver. Scoops it up into the box. Ouattara header clear. Collected on the near side by Joe Linton, 25 yards out. Trippier for support. Throw. Quick one to Bruno. A back heel. It's gone out of play again for another Newcastle ball. And this time they go back with it to Kraft, who almost
stood on it, didn't he?
Almost stood on the ball. Finds down Byrne. Lewis Hall up the line, space for Joe Willock, because Barnes had dropped in deep. Willock slipped. Bournemouth get it clear. And now one for Sinisterra to chase. Kraft across.
Good defending, strong.
And they're playing it quicker, Newcastle, up from the back into midfield. And here's Bruno Guimaraes. Harvey Barnes back inside to Bruno, 35 yards from Neto's goal. Here's Joe Linton approaching the penalty area. Gordon needs something. He's got Trippier on the outside. Looks for Gordon with a return ball, blocked by Ouattara. It's gone out. And whose throw is it? Newcastle's. It's their ball. Gordon to Joe Linton. They're losing 1-0. Marcus Tavernier with the only goal, a tap in from inside the 6-yard box, 8 minutes before half time. He sat with a header cleared from in front of goal. Joe Linton producing a really good save from Neto from a header in the same attack. Trippier forwards. Kirkes has missed it. Joe Linton wins a throw off Senesi, 20 yards out. Gordon wants it. Joe Linton's left it. Throw-in duties to Kieran Trippier, who drops it into space behind Joe Linton. 15 minutes to play. BBC Radio Newcastle. Kraft and Byrne. Hall just behind the halfway line. Up to Barnes, takes it, now gets away from his man. It's a good recovery by Araujo, and Barnes has had to check his run. He's taking him on again, dragging the ball, lifting it inside. Dangerous cross, Anthony Gordon! It's an equaliser. It's Anthony Gordon at the back post from Harvey Barnes's floated cross, and in the 77th minute the goal has arrived. Gordon has got it. It's AFC Bournemouth 1, Newcastle United 1.
Well, it's a great ball played in. Goalkeeper gets caught in no man's land. Driving back post. Simple knock in for Anthony Gordon. He just cuts in Barnes. Float. Keeper's got to come and get it. But Gordon arriving back post. As simple as the Bournemouth goal was. Similar type. Just arriving back post all on his own. Didn't see him sneaking in around the back, and it's 1-1.
Anthony Gordon may not yet be back to his electric best, but he has just delivered a priceless goal for Newcastle United at the start of a huge week for the club. And 1-1, much better since substitutions were made. Can they go and win this game? Well, they've lost the ball, and here's Alex Scott with a shot for Bournemouth that almost hit the top corner. Nick Pope at full stretch was well beaten by such a firmly struck shot from Scott from just outside the area, and it flashed wide of the goal. That could have been an instant response from the home team. What a hit, just wide.
Yeah, giving it away. Joe Willock, little back heel. Can't have little back heels the edge of your own penalty area. Get hold of the ball, hold it into yourself.
Here's Gordon, the goal scorer. Ball in behind towards Barnes, just cleared by Zabani. And Isak was lurking, he couldn't reach it. Kirkes away, Kraft keeping an eye on it. Probably had the sun in his eyes as well, but he's won the header. Ouattara on it now, edge of the penalty box. Tavernier for Semenyo. Low shot from Semenyo, just wide again. The same side of the goal. Bournemouth have had two opportunities to retake the lead since Gordon's equaliser. They're getting a corner out of this one because Lewis Hall got a vital touch, not that he knew an awful lot about it, to divert that shot from Semenyo wide.
Oh, two big chances in the space of what, a minute. They haven't taken either of them.
1-1. Here's the corner, right-footed, dropped into the 6-yard box, header over the top.
Another chance.
Across the goal, and it was Dango Ouattara. That's the difference an equaliser makes. I hope it's coming through loud and clear from the far side of the Vitality Stadium. From the black and whites, who've made, in league terms, their longest trip of the season. 10 minutes to play, Isak heads on. Back to Neto. And they're dropping it in here for Sinisterra. Might have been a foul by Kraft. Bournemouth have it. Referee lets play go on. Ouattara on the near side. Gordon with a block on the cross. Joelinton has it. His options are to the left. Oh, it's won back by Bournemouth in the middle. Semenyo dispossessed by Bruno Guimaraes. And Bruno's ball up the pitch has gone out for a throw, but again surviving the initial threat, and there was a real possibility that Bournemouth could have been in after they lost the ball. Newcastle, not for the first time since the equaliser, just outside the penalty box. It's now on halfway in the 81st minute, one apiece. And Zabani.
Bournemouth have slowed the game down, which I don't think really suits them. They were at their best when they were high press in and about us.
Trippier with a header, Gordon, Joelinton, Bruno, and now Gordon. Isak wants it whipped across, it didn't come. Gordon wins a corner, it's behind off Senesi, and greeted with much enthusiasm from the travelling Toon army as Dan Burn and Emil Kraft get themselves forwards. Trippier, when he's not playing, Newcastle don't have his quality from set pieces. He's going to take this one and will look to make it a good one. Dan Burn again near the penalty spot. Barnes in the 6-yard box, Bruno on the 6-yard line. Trippier out swinger, Bournemouth header, Senesi. It's Isak flicking it on. clearance, which has come back out to this near side, 35 yards out. Anthony Gordon
stick it in.
Takes another touch, delivers the cross. Dan Burn, great save again by Neto. One-handed from Burn's header. Neto, unbelievable stuff from the Bournemouth goalkeeper as Dan Burn got up and almost made it 2-1.
Well, he might have been at fault for the equaliser, but he's made two top saves.
Kieran Trippier getting plenty of love from the Newcastle fans. He's on the far side, whips in this corner, Burn up again. Ball's landed behind, and it's going to be another Newcastle corner kick. 1-1. And we've got 8 minutes of normal time to play. Applying the pressure on Bournemouth, looking to make it count for something. Go in front for the first time. Here's Trippier's corner. It's going to come straight back to him, and it's another corner kick. He's let it run. Third time. Can they do the business from this one? Burn round the back. Isak, Willock on the 6-yard line. Joelinton penalty spot. Bit of pushing and shoving. Trippier headed away. Gordon coming onto it. Overhead kick over the top of the bar. Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, a long way over the top.
Probably worth a try for Bruno because there was nothing on. It came to him and he's got the ability. It's a big chance. The big Dan Burn. There was some talk at the Bournemouth media that maybe Neto might be left out today with Mark Travers playing, but two massive saves from a Joelinton header and then from a Burn header. Having had nought to do in the first half. The home side's captain, the 35-year-old Brazilian. Scott in midfield, moves the ball nicely, under pressure. Ouattara, 20 yards out, left-footed cross. Great ball in!
Oh, what a ball that is.
Great ball in.
He got underneath it, Semenya.
Lewis Hall puts it behind.
Let him get inside him though, didn't he? And he just gets under it, Semenya.
Well, it's 1-1, but it could go either way, couldn't it, John Anderson?
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't like to call a winner, would you?
Listen to BBC Radio Newcastle. Corners on the far side, so it's another in-swinger. Double change for Bournemouth. Coming up. Here's the corner kick. Pope catches. Little stretch of the arms. Hit the deck. The ball in his hands. Comes to the edge of the penalty area. Can't find the space to release it. He's got it in one hand now. Rolls it out to his left. Dan Burn. It's got away from Burn, but he gets there and thumps it up towards Isak. Challenge from Zabani. Scott there takes it down nicely in midfield, and Hall beats Sinistera to the ball. That's good play by Lewis Hall. Newcastle throw. Total Sport back tomorrow at 6. It's bank holiday, but we will still be with you on BBC Radio Newcastle and on BBC Sounds. Reaction to Sunderland's win yesterday, to Newcastle's match here. We'll look ahead to the Forest Cup tie as well, which is on Wednesday night. Total Sport 6 till 8, Monday to Friday. Phone in to talk about Newcastle and Sunderland and hear the latest from both clubs. Back on tomorrow at 6. And Simon Logan's 80s and 90s on BBC Radio Newcastle from 4 after this match finishes. 86th minute, 1-1. Bruno Guimaraes back to Nick Pope. On to Trippier. Joelinton. Oh, skill from Joelinton.
Skill.
If he meant it. Bruno now for Gordon in the final third. Newcastle, this is promising. Anthony Gordon on the outside. Now the cross, half a header clear, then a better one away from Bournemouth. Back into the area. Isak, they've missed the clearance, and then Scott's come away with it at the second time of asking. And he's won a free kick. Gordon tripped him. Newcastle's goal scorer got the equaliser. Eddie Howe is off the bench, his arms in the air, applauding his players. He's having a word with Gordon. Just keeping him right. Still got substitutes warming up, United. Ball in behind, away from Kraft. Pope rushing to the edge of the area to get there. And they made a couple of changes as well, Bournemouth. They brought on Adam Smith for Julian Araujo at right back, and Marcus Tabernier's gone off as well, scored their goal. Daniel Jefferson, his replacement, up front with Sinisterra dropping back. Joelinton away from red and black shirts again. Trippier in acres of space on the near side. A ball up the pitch for Alexander Isak to chase, and he gets there. Lovely skill from Isak, dragged it back, flicked it away from Senesi, who took him down and now receives a yellow card from referee David Coote.
Yeah, Senesi just went flying in. He just needed to hold his ground. Free kick in the dangerous area. Trippier, get on it, whip it in.
Bruno, as he does, lifting his arms up, waving them around in the direction of the fans. 6-2 to Chelsea at Wolves. 6-2. João Felix has scored. 1-1 at Bournemouth. But they might have a chance from this in the 88th minute. Kieran Trippier level with the penalty spot out on the right wing. Here's the free kick towards the back of the box, and big Dan Burn. Harvey Barnes tried to get there, beaten to it. Cleared as far as Lewis Hall, on to Barnes. There's still three in the middle as Barnes beats his man, heads for the goal line, delivers it, but
unlucky.
Neto catches.
That'll be a yellow card.
Dan Burn collides with the keeper.
Why did he do it? Why did he
punished.
feel he had to do it? They had nobody up the pitch.
Miguel Almiron's going to come on. Another player whose future at Newcastle may be uncertain. And Anthony Gordon, whose equaliser will hopefully, from Newcastle's perspective, earn them at least a point. Turns to applaud the away fans and makes his way off the pitch. It's thanked by Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall. Neto with the free kick. It's a short ball to Senesi, and that's a long ball up towards the edge of the area. Kraft's header. Bruno. Cook out of play. 90th minute. 40 seconds till we get the numbers board on BBC Radio Newcastle. Antoine Semenyo announced as the Bournemouth man of the match.
Haven't seen as much of him second half, thankfully.
Pope over to Burn on the touchline. This is Willock facing his own goal. Spins and away up the left wing. Oh, this is good running by Joe Willock. It's what he does so well. Now in the middle of the Bournemouth half. Cuts back towards halfway, but Newcastle still have it. Bruno, Trippier's run into space. Bruno looks for Trippier and finds him. Laid off to Joelinton, 5 yards from the penalty area. Inside to Bruno, he's got space. What's he going to do? Bruno, left-footed shot, good save again by Neto. Diving towards the top of his net. It was going to nestle in the top corner, but Neto got his hand to the ball and clawed it over the top and away for a corner.
Yeah, what a save again. That's 3 top saves he's made. It looked like it was going to nestle top corner, top right hand corner. Keeper gets across, big hand, pushes behind, corner kick.
We're now into additional time at the end of the 90. Here's the Kieran Trippier corner kick. Couple of headers, they haven't got it clear. Isak on the ball in the area. Almiron maybe lining up a shot. No, good ball. Back out to Trippier. Needs a couple of touches. Beats his man. Still Trippier. Can he deliver? Sends over the cross. Ouattara away. Almiron back in. Joelinton back to goal, holding it up. Ouattara clearance. Lewis Hall collects. And Trippier sticks it back in. Dan Burns the target. It's beaten Byrne, he's collided with Senesi, they're both down. Play continues as they both get back up. Ouattara up the line. Semenyo gets past Bruno and Byrne. Now Semenyo just outside the area. Danger here. Sinistera! Pope couldn't hold it, but pushed it behind.
Oh dear. This is so end-to-end. What a hit that is. Strong hands, Pope. Just got something on it. Wasn't too sure where it was going. Looped up, gone behind, corner kick. I didn't see him many minutes, did you?
No, I'm trying to find out. I was hoping you were going to rescue me. I missed the numbers board because Newcastle were attacking. And no one seems to know. All right, well, we're playing on. It's 1-1. And the match continues. But Bournemouth have another corner. They've had lots of these in the second half. Outswinger this time, headed in! It's going to be a late winner. And Bournemouth have got the goal. Having gone with in-swinging corners in the second half, they changed it. And this was an outswinger towards the back of the 6-yard box. And it's been headed into the corner of the net in added on time. And Dango Ouattara, the substitute, has made it AFC Bournemouth 2, Newcastle United 1.
Got to defend it better than that. Defending's got to be better. Free header, middle of the 6-yard box. Can't give people the freedom in the 6-yard box to head home.
Ouattara drifted behind Joelinton.
Got there ahead of Dan Bourne, didn't he?
Just want to see a replay of this. Is there any sense it came off his arm? I'm not clutching at straws, just from one angle looked like it might have done. There were no appeals, so maybe that tells you it could have been shoulder, perhaps off his head onto his shoulder. Referee's telling Newcastle and Bournemouth to wait. VAR is looking for possible handball. There is a full VAR check. Possible handball. Let's see. I don't know, does that... don't know if it actually... does it even go off Ouattara? Is it off Byrne? We're seeing the corner come in.
Is it Bourne's arm that hits?
Maybe. Looks like it hits one of their arms, but their arms are interlocked. David Coote, the referee, Tim Robinson on VAR, we're still waiting. 1-1, but 2-1 to Bournemouth if the goal stands. Newcastle will be praying this gets disallowed. Referee says wait. VAR. No goal. Disallowed. And they'll be thanking their lucky stars, Newcastle United, as the Bournemouth manager runs to fourth official Simon Hooper and says it was shoulder. But the goal scorer, Ouattara, well, he started to complain now. As Andoni Iraola is yellow carded. They just seem to accept it at first. But what a huge let-off, Andy.
Huge, massive let-off. Absolutely huge.
I have to say, we saw it 3 or 4 times. I'm not entirely convinced.
No, I'm not convinced either. I didn't know whose arm it came off.
Looks like it might just clip the top, but I think it hits a bit of Dan Byrne's arm as well. Right, we said it, they could lose it or they could win it. They've almost lost it. Can they go and win it? We're now into a 96th minute. Goodness knows when the whistle will come. It's 1-1 on BBC Radio Newcastle. Almiron's on the ball. They've got a chance to go forwards. There are 7 Bournemouth players back, 5 for Newcastle in the attack. Barnes wide left, into the area. Harvey Barnes, Neto's caught the cross.
Oh.
And now it's run into Joelinton, but it's a yellow card.
Hey, I tell you what.
It needed to be a better
like
ball
a rugby team.
You can see what Barnes is looking for, the late run from Joelinton, but the ball in. It's just perfect for the goalkeeper, and that's frustrating. Bournemouth staff complaining to the fourth official again. 96 minutes have been played, 1-1. Bournemouth late winner ruled out by VAR.
Now where's he going?
Referees coming over to the touchline. I think the fourth official might have told on somebody, and the referee's reaching for a card, and a red card for one of the Bournemouth coaches.
Hey, honestly, the game has gone, you know. It really has.
Referee getting a lot of grief. I think it's been a difficult afternoon for him.
It is when you're making tackles like that.
Yeah. Also, the goal, that's the VAR call. He wasn't actually told to see it. He just confirms the decision from VAR. 1-1, still we play on BBC Radio Newcastle. Header on by Sinistera. Joelinton has turned, hasn't got the ball away. Kraft with a block, Bruno as well. Out to Semenyo, deflected shot. Joelinton trying to get Newcastle up the pitch. It's so scrappy. Oh, it's all over the place. It's come off Willock and come to Ouattara. Willock then with a foul. Bournemouth free kick on the left wing.
It's like jumpers and playgrounds.
It's exhausting.
How many minutes is it now?
Frantic football. 98th minute.
And he played 4.
He played another 4. And, well, I don't know if there'll be time for Newcastle to attack, but what they have to do is repel this Bournemouth free kick. On the left, Cook floats it, Pope starts to come, then retreats, headed up towards the 6-yard box. Joelinton header out of play. That's on the far side. David Cook blows the full-time whistle. Newcastle United take a point, and they will be delighted to be going back to Tyneside with a point, because Dango Ouattara thought he'd won it for Bournemouth in added on time, but his header after a VAR check was ruled out because of handball.